Welcome to the Ballard Proud podcast. It seems everyone can agree that Ballard is a fantastic school district, and when asked why, the answer always includes some reference to, well, it's people and relationships. So I'm on a mission to get to know the people of Ballard and find out why everyone is so proud to be part of this district. I'm Danny Trimble, Superintendent for the Ballard District, and I'd love for you to come along with me on this journey to uncover what it means to be Ballard Proud. Welcome to this edition of the Ballard Proud podcast. Today, we feature another of our Ballard School Board members by welcoming Tim VanLoo. Tim was elected to the school board in 2023. Tim, thanks for making time to join us today.
Thanks for having me. This should be fun.
You sure should. So tell us about your connection to the Ballard community.
So my wife and I moved here when Stephen was about 2. I was working at Northwestern University, and I had accepted a job at Iowa State in 2010, so spring of 2010. So we were looking for homes all over kind of Story City area, and just happened to land here in Huxley, right up the street from the middle school. And so we've been here almost 15 years now, in March. So yeah, it's been a fun time. We just kind of fell into the community. I got connected pretty quick through a couple of different communities, church community, and then actually played a lot of basketball at 3Cs, which is connected to the middle school. So that was kind of how we got started. And we said our kids were we only had Steven at that point, and then Sam was born a year later. So pretty young family at that time.
Yeah, so really you've been here for a while, and a lot happens with family in a short amount of time. Yeah. It grows.
Yes. Luckily, this community was pretty welcoming for some, Michiganders like my wife and I. So yeah, not being from Iowa.
Nice. So we all know that there's a process to becoming a board member, an election process, and, choices get made, but it all starts from an interest, right? So what interested you in serving potentially as a board member?
Oh, man. So it all kind of started with a conversation that Steve Domino and I had actually down in Nashville when he was working for a company that my wife was. They were working together, and we were down there on it was kind of a retreat for them, and they got to bring their spouses along. And at the time, I was serving on a couple different boards associated with my professional associations. And I happened to be the president of our national organization that year. So it had probably been 2017-ish. And we just had a discussion about just board service and what it looked like, and how you kind of have to think differently and kind of more. And he said, I think you'd be a good school board member. And I was like, yeah, right. And that conversation would come up probably once or twice a year when I saw him. And so that really started the interest, because I've never really served my community in that way. I've only ever served on professional associations and then church related stuff. So that interest just kind of spawned into, why not? I'm part of it. My kids go here, and they're, they'll all graduate here hopefully. And so that was just kind of how it got started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I never miss an opportunity to say thanks for your service. So this isn't just about Tim, the school board member today. Just want to get to know you a little bit more for our community. What are you interested in addition to supporting the school district?
Like all of my other interests?
Yeah, what are your other interests? Your many, I'm sure.
I have plenty. Obviously, family is one of my main interests, but we enjoy being outside. And so anytime we can get to national parks is something we try to do. And then I enjoy the game of golf a lot. I've played all my life. And then in the last 7-8 years, my son and I have spent a lot of time on 2 wheels. So we spent a lot of time on dirt bikes and my road bike. And so I enjoy motorcycles a lot too. So I have lots of interests, most of which take up time and money and resources, but we have fun doing them. So
All right. And so possibly related, possibly not. My next question for you is, what do you think would surprise people to learn about you?
Well, for people that don't know me, I grew up on a farm, but a very different kind of farm than what most Iowans would think of. I grew up on a large, like 1,200 acre vegetable farm. So we grew kind of lettuces, celery, carrots, radishes, cilantro, all of those kind of plants. And so it's just one of those things when my wife almost rolls her eyes every time I say, "Yeah, I grew up on a farm," because nobody understands what kind of farming it was, and so it was just very different. And most people don't think about the things actually in the produce section and where they come from. Well, I got to see it firsthand my whole life, and my father, who's 72, still does it. So,
Mm.
yeah, so that would probably be one that would be just a little bit different than what most people think of as farming.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so last question, turning back more district pointed with this question, what makes you most proud when you think about this district?
So this would be an easy one to answer, and it's going to kind of come from maybe a different point of view. So I do a lot of officiating, basketball. And so I'm around a lot of other school districts, and usually you start talking to the ADs or the principals, whoever's there kind of running the event, and they always ask, where you're from. And I always get to say, Huxley, my kids go to Ballard. And without a doubt, I don't think I've ever had a situation where somebody didn't say, "Oh, that's a great school district." And so I think just knowing that everybody else knows what we have here, and might be just a little envious sometimes, I think that's what makes me most proud.
Mm, yep. Yep. There's nothing wrong with being a place where other people want to be, right?
Darn right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it just has a good reputation. That's something to be proud of, and hopefully we can continue that.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Tim, for being part of the Community by Choice many years ago, and for now your service on the board and involvement as a parent, et cetera, et cetera. We appreciate you having the time to visit with us today.
Well, thanks for having me. This was fun.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ballard Proud. There's more to come as we dive into what it means to be Ballard Proud. Until next time, I'm Superintendent Danny Trimble, and I hope you have a great day.